I'm a guy who's a self-confessed weirdo with an overclocked imagination.
You're a man of many projects.
I kind of like my freedom.
People very much expect you to stay within certain boundaries.
And where was I going with all this?
The last lie you made up about yourself.
Tarja plays piano. I play bass and guitar. Who else do we need?
Hello, Metal Pilgrims, and a very special welcome on this episode, because today, for the very first time ever, we have nobody else but Marko Hietala on the show to speak about his upcoming studio album and much more. Marko, thank you so much for finding time and joining me today. How are you, man?
Pretty good, I guess. It's a nicely sunny day out there, and yeah, don't have to worry about anything right now, except billions of other things, but it's a nice moment of the day.
Well, a little birdie told me that it was your birthday yesterday.
Indeed.
It was. So first of all, before anything, happy birthday, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's I'm getting close to some very, very legendary and even absurd thresholds. How the fuck did I end up here in these times? And
you're looking good though, right? Like, it's good. Like,
yeah,
it's all
thanks.
about how you feel, right?
I didn't shave though. Is it okay?
Before we started, you said something about Deep Purple, and Ian Gillan is like 25 years or even older than you, so, and he's still rocking it out on stage. So it's all about,
indeed,
it's all about how you feel. And
I've always thought that age is more about an attitude. And if you keep your inner kid alive and have a lots of humor, whether it's slow or intellectual or what or not, if you have a lot of that, then you manage to run a bit farther.
That's true. That's true. And it helps you get through any kind of darkness and any kind of shit that comes your way. So yeah, agree.
And that also has.
That's good to hear. Anyways, Marko, obviously the biggest news in the world of Marko Hietala this time around is the release of your upcoming solo studio album, Roses from the Deep. So first of all, congrats on on finishing it up and finally sending it out to us to enjoy it.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the enjoyment.
Well, and before we start anything else, since it's kind of a comeback album for you, let's call it like this, can you talk a little bit about the creative process and how it was, if at all, different from what you did on your solo record the previous time around when you were still a part of, another project or other projects as well?
Okay. So, Roses from the Deep probably differs from the previous works, mostly so that it has its own symphonic or sensitive acoustic moments and everything and blah, blah, blah. But in general, I think it's also more groovy with the band, because if we had been playing some years together already, then again, it's also more groovy and happy, because that's also a personal situation that changed really a lot and really surprisingly fast. And so these kind of the mental state will come across from whatever you do. And yeah, in Roses from the Deep, you can probably hear that there is even more enthusiasm in pounding it away than before. So that's a big difference. Of course, the music itself is from me and my bandmates. So I'm a guy who's a self-confessed weirdo with an overclocked imagination, and I have very versatile, like road dogs of the long road as bandmates who have a lot of different influences and all that. Of course, we share a love for a good punchy heavy metal and classic hard rock and prog. So these things kind of melt together very easily. And that's what we had a lot. Maybe it was that prog side on Pyro, the Black Heart, and it was more easier then to do a darker stuff. I was in a darker place, but then this one also has its definite prog moments, and there are like deepness in the most simplest of songs. But you can also hear that there's a band who likes to play with the punch and good rock and roll attitude.
You know, the craziest thing, I was able to listen to the entire record a little bit earlier than most mortal human beings on this earth.
Okay.
Before we talk about music, one of the things that kind of struck me the most, that I caught myself thinking while listening to it for the first time, was that it was a very honest record. You know, it's something that you can hear in the music and possibly in the lyrics as well. And then I remember that interview from around, when was it, like 5 years ago, when you released your first solo album. When you said something about honesty being a journey, and in regards to Marko and the spelling of it being the last lie you made up about yourself. So, and it's been 5 years ago. It was when you released Pyros. So do you think this album, in a way, in terms of the way it came out, is somewhat a result of that journey of yours of the past couple of 5 years or so?
Definitely. You're always tied to the times you live in, and everything that goes into your head comes out when you start writing your own music or lyrics or whatever. But in terms of honesty, I think it's something that if the band and the vocals and the lyrics over it sound honest, I think it's a kind of a combo effort of us all. Because, we wanted to make a kind of a album that would have depth, would have really good punch, and that you could hear everybody playing. And it would have arrangements that would show that you can go with this instrument there when that one goes there. So that was something that we all wanted to do. And the honesty and sense of like fairness and all that is apparently part of the ADHD. Very much. For me, it's always been such a thing that I tried to avoid giving false information or that kind of thing to the last. I mean, if I see that the truth will cause serious damage, way more than keeping silent, I choose to keep silent. But otherwise, I don't think that it's good for us to carry that kind of things in our heads. They are holes that you carry into the future, and there's always a danger of tripping into one that you yourself dug with wrong story and everything and all that. I just feel that it's more bothersome to be dishonest. I'm too lazy to be sneaky. No, and actually, it is something that I've seen and experienced a lot, like with people that it tends to be their habit. No, it actually is not a habit. It's something you learn. Whatever you grow with, whatever you see, whatever you hear, how people treat you, the schoolmates, kids, other kids, your parents, it will forever color your vision how to see other people. If your experience from the childhood, from bad parents or something is like that, I cannot trust even those who should love me most, you will end up being a very distrustful human.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. And where was I going with all this?
Honesty on this record.
Yeah, honesty anyways, yeah. And these kind of things should be... I've seen people who are so in need, so much want to see things that they happened like this because of this and that. They're so in need of seeing them, so that it would always be somebody else's fault. And all that. And like there's the fear of being worse than somebody else is such a fucking ruler in human life. And that is, I think, the biggest enemy of every rationalism decision. Fear is also the enemy of honesty. because a lot of times you don't dare to say something, or you don't want to put yourself up forward. Fear.
Well, unfortunately, as a Ukrainian in Ukraine now, I kind of have to relate with this quite a lot. If I really rethought my relationship with fear and what I fear of in the past 3 years quite a lot. And I do agree that it's one of the biggest blockages of you moving forward as a human being, and developing as a human being as well.
And as my personal, let's say, over vision of Putin's war, it's that it stops the green progress. They got shits of loads of oils to sell. Also, there's a shitload of countries in the world who have oil to sell, who can say anything. Oh, we condemn this and we condemn that, but they don't really want to do things that way, because let's get rid of these barrels first. They might even be talking to Putin. Yeah. Apparently, Trump had. So, Dragon must die.
Yes, hopefully this year. Going back to the record on this very cheerful note, let's get back to the record a little bit. You know what I loved about it musically is how diverse it is in a way of taking you from the dark places to this cheerful happiness in just a matter of several minutes. That's a bit of an emotional roller coaster. And
good.
And it kind of, I felt like you all did this in a way of an ode to 70s rock and roll, this hard rock sound that, we just spoke about. I felt Deep Purple there in a way as well, the influences there as well. So do you think this kind of has been done on, first of all, do you agree with this at all? And if so, do you think this kind of has been done on purpose for you as an outlet after, being part of other projects where people very much expect you to stay within certain boundaries of power metal, symphonic metal, whatever it is, sound?
Yeah, there is that freedom to take that kind of a, classic rock vibe and the groove of the band, which we talked about already, and all that, put it together with some more modern guitar sounds here and there and slip onto the middle. And then add some orchestras and do some nice harmonies. And yeah, I mean, music is of course, it's a totally serious thing as well, because it's a big emotional kick for us who tend to like some particular piece of music and all that. We get really good vibes out of it. So music is serious business, but we also get good vibes out of just playing. And whatever you write musically, it's also your play field into whatever story and vibe you want to present.
You started talking about music. Do you feel like after so many years in the industry, right, and it's been more than 40 years now, do you feel like you're still that, I don't want to say a music head, a metal head or something like that? Do you still get the kicks out of enjoying your favorite artists and exploring new music, new artists as well? Or you're so fed up with this at this point that that's kind of part of your daily routine and job?
It's somewhere in between. I mean, I do try to find new music every now, here and then, and I take hints from some people who say that you might like this and all that. But I also, you don't do that when you're touring. I mean, all that shit is around music. No matter that you play the same songs and the other band plays also the same songs and all that. It's a bit of fed up situation to concentrate on something that depends solely on your hearing.
Yeah,
and you get fed up with it. But at home, it's really nice to find something. Oh, I didn't know about this, and all that. And so I don't know if there's been any really huge surprises in my latest years. I've enjoyed listening to what Katatonia does. It suits my melancholic, doomy attitude. But, well, I got hooked to Black Sabbath when I was a kid.
Man, one of the things, and I have to ask this because, part of the things that we do is, I announce people from my patrons and everyone who I'll be having on the show, and they throw in questions. And this question has been asked so many freaking times that I simply cannot ignore it. So apologies if it has been asked by other people as well. But your collab with Tarja and the tour that you guys did and everything you are doing together now was a huge success, right? It had people kind of going crazy almost then. I mean, you know that. It's part of the deal you kind of expected. Were you?
That's kind of the intention.
Of course. I mean, let's be honest here. It is. So have you guys spoken about making it somewhat of a permanent arrangement as a side project of some sort at all? Or this is off the table?
No, not really. We haven't talked about it. I mean, it's come up in some interviews, also in the interviews where we are together and all that. Now, the trouble here is that I kind of like my freedom, and so does she.
Yeah.
And we both have bands.
Yeah.
And within those bands, we both have some people like really trustees now, because we also, both of us have been in need of those very bad. And so putting something up together, I wouldn't close it off. I mean, we could probably do a lot of good things together, but it would also mean like icing some plans of the future. Also would have to again start choosing who's going to be in it and in what role. Yeah, maybe we should look at it in a totally other way. That build it around vocalists who can play something. I mean, Tarja plays piano. I play bass and guitar. Who else do we need?
I'll join you guys.
Castronova was singing pretty badass behind the drums. And that kind of stuff.
Well, talking about the future and moving forward, first of all, one of the other things that people wanted to know quite a lot about is whether you are considering, once again, after your journey to honesty of the past several years, let's call it like this. I'm just putting a title on it.
Okay.
Let's call it, maybe it should be a good title for it. But have you considered writing a new book about your journey, including this last chapter of it?
Okay. But here we are talking about things where both personally or for some other people coming out with everything except of holding it, just that it's gone. It might cause damage. And to people that I don't want to see damaged. So I'm not sure. Would have to cause some pretty good editing and use and really be sharp on what to edit if I would have to go, because I see things as a continuum very much. That one thing leads to another, or actually several another's, and they in turn do that. Whatever I've seen it, the calculations that we have this illusion that we're in control of our lives when we check our bank accounts and when we pick our kids from daycare. But whenever meteorite might hit you from space. So actually, I think it was the maximum was around 40% of our lives, maximum, usually even less. The other times that we decide something, it's based on surrounding chaos and circumstances.
Once again, I kind of have to agree with you. And, for us, it has been even a little bit more in the past couple of years than that.
I really get it.
So what is next for Marko Hietala in terms of your solo career, in terms of Taro, any other bands you're part of, any other projects? You're a man of many projects, man.
Well, there is one thing that I've been part of the 20 years that finished like Christmas project that started out as a kind of a tongue in the cheek, and we did like 3 shows in different pubs and we're wasted ourselves and all that. And then suddenly we kind of found out that we were in a situation where we updated Christmas song tradition to the rock generations, because the arrangements have always been like, it's not like let's put some fuzz on the guitars and double bass drum here and shout over it. These were like proper arrangements. So it ended up being like a concert hall and ice hall filling shows. You do a tour before every Christmas.
Nice.
And all that. So that was something that, of course, you would hope things to be successful and all that, but it was more than we could have expected. How the hell did this come this big? And then, I kind of figured that it must be that there was a social need. Mm-hmm. That there's so much like rock generations already in the middle age and even older, that when we put it that way, they got it back. Mm-hmm. Funny thing. So that's what I'm doing every year. Taro possibly doing some shows, but we have nothing for certain because the band cannot tour at the moment. My brother, who's the guitar player, he's basically a nurse and a caretaker for his invalidized wife. So we cannot do a long touring, but we can hit some festival weekends and something like that. Gonna get together next summer to see if we can write some music.
Wow.
Just for the hell of it. Just wanted to have a gathering and see what we got at the old hard disks and if we get inspired. But and then of course there's a shitload of shows to do with my own band, touring with Tarja's band. Also, I think me and Tuomas Väinölä, again my guitar player right hand, we're gonna be, I think, joining Tarja in the South Americas, and was it even Mexico, where we're gonna be the acoustic support group, and then do a few legendary duets again. And so the next year is pretty much
planned out.
Work, and then it starts to disappear into the fog of the future with some more work. I imagine that sometime in 2026, I got to look at the calendar and mark that, guys, this is where it's been enough. Then 3 months, no calls. I think that's going to happen at 26, ladies.
Nice. Marko, talking about heavy metal is literally my biggest passion. I can do it for hours, but there are other things for you to do, more fun than talking to me. So thank you so much.
I don't know. This has been good.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Any last message for your fans all across the world, old and new?
Well, I've often said that I'm a kind of a scientific hippie. Mm-hmm. So I would say that what we need at this time in the world is a peace and love and proper trusty information about things.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining. This was Marko Hietala, and his new studio album, Roses from the Deep, will be out on February 7th, correct?
Yeah,
I think
that's right.
Check it out. You're definitely going to love it. Marko, thank you so much for finding time and joining me today. Keep rocking, man.
No problem.